Yesterday marked my 7th month clean. Only methadone's the only thing I've taken. When I was on methadone before, I was always wondering when I was going to get off of it. Now, why would I want to get off of this? I actually feel happiness. And I gotta say, in my whole life, I don't ever remember feeling happiness. What's different this time? A deeper understanding, age. In some sense, I lost a lot of my life to drugs. But life is experience. That's all. I mean, your whole life's a collection of your experiences. And that's what that was to me. Thing is, it's kind of dangerous for me to just do nothing but think about it, or to get in conversations about it. Young people I know have a harder time with this, as I did. I was an abused child in more ways than 5. But at 18, I had such a pathetic sense of myself. The only thing that kept me alive at that age was drugs. That was the only thing I looked forward to, with more drugs. And that was PCP and LSD. PCP was their super strong drug. It's not like heroin or this other dope that's around. It took you away completely. Sometimes you'd be messed up for 24 hours. You could still feel it 3 days later from one shot. Phencyclidine hydrochloride. Believe me, you take a shot of that stuff, you're gonna wish you fucking didn't. So I'm not trying to encourage anybody. It is hardcore. I was hooked on it. All my friends were mid-70s. That was what was around. It was the powder, you know. There was crank, but fuck, I hated staying awake 3-4 days. I hated that. And you don't feel high no more. You're just awake. Stupid high. We called it T-bone. When I was 19 years old, I weighed 99 pounds, 6'2". My pants were falling off me. I looked like I could have been in a movie about a concentration camp, and I would have been very believable. My parents, we had 4 other kids. They didn't know what to do. Drugs were a friggin' new thing on the scene in 1975, 76. I was extremely bad on the shit from, I'd say, the summer of 76 until the end of the summer of 79. And then I tapered off, but for those, it was like 4 years, I was doing that shit sometimes every single day of the week. PCP is not like heroin. You cannot function normally on it. You cannot go to work on it. You are disabled. Every one of us collected welfare, living at home collecting welfare. Oh yes, you can do it. There's a trick to it. I don't think they still allow it, but as long as you're on drugs, drug addict. It wasn't much money, it was something. And then you just fuck around, sell drugs, get the rest, do whatever you had to do. One thing I found is very valuable to me is filling my head with other things. See, I could go back and go through story after story of drugs, PCP, cocaine, LSD, benzos, heroin, opiate pills. Your body's stronger than you think it is. You can come out of the most horrific shit where you never thought it imaginable you'd survive. When I first came up, I could barely walk. Last year I went into the woods in the winter. I went out of breath so bad I was wheezing. I could only walk about 15 feet. I had to stop, walk 15 feet, stop, catch my breath. This is a year later. I can walk 5-6 miles through this stuff. The first few months were not easy. I would drive to the methadone clinic and I have so many fucked up memories in my head coming back. I would sometimes start crying in my car. And if you say you don't cry and you're on heroin, you're a bullshitter. Heroin breaks anybody. It's a torturer. You can truly say you've been on heroin, been on it good for a long time, you know what horror is. Look at this. Euphoria. I was just thinking about that. Euphoria. Heroin is euphoria wrapped up in a horror show. Because that withdrawal is a horror. The thing we get hooked on is the relief. Not the pleasure, the relief. Relief is the greatest pleasure. Because it's almost unimaginable that you could be in such bad shape. Laying on that couch, suffering, and that shot will bring you out of it like a miracle. It's hard to break that. Addiction to relief. But it kills you. You tasted it, it hooks you. I used to wonder what it really was. Is it some kind of alien parasite that gets in your body and just needs to keep feeding itself or something? Inorganic being? I don't know. And really it's not worth the time wasting on it. It's in me now. Methadone is in me now. I'm not high. I made another step this week. I had a kind of tough week though. I went into a real dark, shadow world, that anxiety feeling that something's wrong, something's around the corner. I was beating it, but it was not comfortable. And my doctor had me on Seroquel to sleep and for depression and gabapentin. Now I'm starting to friggin' nod in my car and shit, yesterday, this ain't cool, and it wasn't constant, it just started happening this last week. So I stopped taking the Seroquel, and man, I feel a lot better. But I chipped down on it. I didn't just stop taking it. And I'm not going to be able to get across this creek shit. But what I've been filling my head with is the history of where I'm walking. Who walked where I'm walking now? The Indians that lived here. Who knows where they came from? Alaska. This creek is named after an Indian chief, Smoke. Old Smoke. He had an old king they knew him as also. Man, I really wanted to walk far down here. I'm going to be stuck. There's no way to get across this. And that's all private property over there. There are actually houses over there. Oh, it might shallow up here. Let's see. Got my nice new boots on. History's important, and it really does fill the void. If my mind starts wandering. I've read so many books in the last 6 months, 5 months, about the tribes that lived here, their names, who they were, what they did, whatever records they have of them. And I got a great interest in it. Some of these people were unbelievable adventurers. And some of the first white settlers were amazing people. See, there's these ripples. Maybe I can get across this. I don't think so, though. It almost looks up there I could. Wow, look at a waterfall up there. That's cool. Oh, this stinks, man. I want to get over there. There's not even a way to drive over without going in someone's backyard. Let's see if I can walk along. You get hooked on the chaos of dope too. You get hooked on all that stealing. I still go in. Every time I go in a grocery store, every time I go in, this is a hardware store, my mind says to steal it. Steal it. It's too expensive. Steal it. Damn, I gotta wait. Too risky. I'm up 3/4 up on my boots there. See, I don't care if I look like a goof. This to me is so enjoyable. See, I can't help my friggin' self. Watch, I'll fall in a hole or some shit. Look at that. I don't think this is going to be a way to cross this without getting soaked, so no one to turn around. Believe me, I don't want to. Just like dope. When you're on that run, oh my God, I don't think I ever turned around. When I made that decision to go and get it, I never turned around. Maybe once. See, I used to have to go down on the thruway. I remember in the winter one year, I was pretty sick, but I had money, I had a good connection. I'm shooting down the thruway, and there's like a giant hill our thruway has, called the Skyway. I'm coming back, and it's kind of icy out, a lot of snow. So I pull off the thruway pretty fast, and this dude in his little car in front of me, he's in the far lane, just on the street. He pulls right in front of me. Now I gotta, I'm screwed. My car starts spinning. It goes up the side of the thruway in all I can imagine is like a surfboard or something. And the snow on the side of the thruway is just flying. I'm going sideways on a fucking hill that's got to be 50 feet up. You know, it's banked. It's not like a cliff, but it's like just ripping along. I got my dope going. Fuck, I'm gonna have to call a tow truck, and I'm not gonna be able to get high right away. And it stopped, and I just put it into neutral, and it rolled down the hill right back on the road, man. I was home in 10 minutes. Boom. But it's like these whack job fucking experiences you have, and then you go home to some kind of normalcy, and those two lives, it ends up sucking, it ends up fucking your whole life up. I remember saying that I would want to be on the ship forever. You know, the panacea is something, but this is better. No matter if I'm chained to methadone or what, I feel very free. Walking out here, I never would have done this on dope. If I did, I would have felt like some sneaky criminal creeping through the woods that everyone's got to be aware of. And that was never true. Nature to me has been my greatest teacher. I'm just starting to think about regular emotions too. I don't think someone that's just coming out of this will get any value out of these tapes. I'm not telling you who I am. I'm not really going back looking at these tapes at all. That's a cool friggin' tree, huh? But if it helps somebody, it would make me very happy. Wow, this is badass, huh? It's an oak tree. It's still alive, too. You know what did it? Someone started a fire in here. That'll always kill the tree. Even if it's a little hole, there might be a raccoon or something up there, too. The snow's too melted to see prints. I don't see food and shit down there, though, so probably not. It probably stinks too much like smoke. It scares them away. Right now, I'm a few minutes from my house. You can see there's houses up there. I'm not out in the country. You go early enough anywhere, you can go. I mean, some places are like just too hot. But you could find nature in any environment. You could find to stretch a field and make it your own. Learn about every plant that's sticking out of the ground. Teach about where you really are. Because the leveling sentence is, no one knows where we really are. No one. Not the richest guy on earth. Not the holiest guy on earth. No priests. No beggars. No one knows where we are. Oh yeah, you're in the Milky Way galaxy on Earth. Oh, where's that? Huh? Sometimes these thoughts scare people, but I find it leveling. When I think about that, I laugh. It makes me laugh, makes me feel comfortable that I'm on this great adventure. I don't think you can waste a minute of your life. I mean, prison's probably the biggest waste, but I know a guy told me he did like 13, 14 years, he said. I've had enough adventures in the yards of Dannemora and Clinton and whatever the hell he said. All them fucked up. I think Dannemora is Clinton. But, I mean, he did a lot of time, but I never forgot that he said that. Other people been down here today. Footprints. Most people shy away when you see them. You give a wave, they'll go their way, you go your way. This time of year, a lot of people are looking for deer racks because they fall off in January. I still got a lot of problems I'm facing, but they're all doable. I owe about $10,000, maybe more. Yeah, and it is from stupidity. It is all related to drugs. But I'm taking care of it as best I can. You can still be successful. You can still rise above everything and everybody. You got experiences that most of the world don't, no matter how you think that everybody's doing this shit. They're really not. It's a minority of people are doing it. Maybe all your gang's doing it. Like when I was a kid, to say, "Yeah, everybody's doing this shit." Nah, they weren't. Everybody wasn't shooting fucking needles in their arms. Some were going to college. You know, some were just smoking weed. I grew up in the city. I didn't grow up in the fucking suburbs, man. People getting beat. Carloads of fucking guys pulling up, beating people with baseball bats. Now it's different with the guns. Now death wanders this drug world like a fucking predator. Best off to walk away, retire. There's nothing wrong with being on Suboxone or methadone for the rest of your life if need be. People get on Suboxone, the first thing they want to know is how long do I have to take it? Don't fucking worry about it. Suboxone would not work for me. I do